Hi everyone. I'll be giving today's workshop on how to play the ukulele. For today's workshop, we're gonna do some cool stuff with the ukulele and what kind of information you might need before you start learning or playing with it. To start off with, the first part is the types of the ukuleles. There is around like 4 main types of the ukulele, and they're named after the range they are in. So when I say range, it's like how high and how low it can go. So the first one is the soprano, and it's around 12 to 15 frets. You see, like there's those parts here, we call them frets, right? So if you want to of ukulele that's in front of you, you just need to count those frets. So for each group of frets, you can figure out which type of ukulele you have. So mine is around 15 to 20. Yeah, 20. So it's a concert type of ukulele. It's like medium size. So the smallest one is called the soprano, and it's the highest. So from the name soprano, it means high in Italian. The concert one is almost the same as the soprano. The only thing is that it has a louder volume. And then you have the tenor, which is the mid-tone. So it goes high and it goes a bit low. These three, they have the same, what do we call them, tuning system. So the same, what do you call it, scale. All right, and then you have the last one, which is called baritone. So baritone means that it goes low, all right, and it almost sounds like a guitar. Yeah, and then you have different types of woods that are usually, like the ukuleles are usually made of. The koa one is a Hawaiian type of wood, and you have mahogany, and the last one is spruce. So most what do you call it? Ukuleles are usually like the ones that aren't very expensive are made of spruce. So yeah, so usually people would go for concerts or soprano as a start off. It depends on what kind of sound you want to hear as well, right? The next part is talking about the parts of the ukulele. So if you can see here, we have the top part is what we call the head. And then you have a small keys on the side, and these we call them tuners, and you know exactly what they stand for is like they actually tune your instrument. And then you have the white part you see here. It's called a nut, and this is what the strings go above. So it would give you a space for between the what do you call it, the neck and the strings. All right, and then you have the as I said, the frets that are on the neck, okay? And then you have the body of the ukulele and the sound hole where the actual sound comes from. And you have something called a saddle, which is the big square you have here at the bottom. And then you have a bridge, which the strings end on, all right? So these are like the main parts of the ukulele. Now, the next part is to talk about tuning and the scale that we usually play on soprano ukulele. So for a soprano ukulele, as I said, you have their standard tuning is that you have the first one is a G, the second one is a C, and the third one is an E, and the last one is an A. So the way they look on a keyboard, which is most of you might be familiar with, is like this here, right? And this is how it looks on the scale. So C is a Do. So this is for the standard tuning for a ukulele. What is the difference between a ukulele and a guitar? Okay, so the first main difference, which is the simplest, is that ukulele is a tiny, right? And a guitar is like pretty huge compared to the ukulele. The second thing is that ukulele has 4 main strings, all right? And the guitar has 6 strings. And the tuning system for them is completely different. So that's the main difference between a ukulele and a guitar. The next one is we're gonna talk about chords. So usually the way you play music on string-based instruments like a guitar or ukulele, we don't play them like what do you call it? Like normally, like most songs or most music um, sheets, you're gonna see these. So these are like your chord formations on your ukulele what do you call it, neck. So how you position your fingers on the frets and how to make different sounds. So each string makes a sound differently. Like makes the, what do you call it, the sound on a string separately. And this is what we call plucking. So this is what we call plucking, as I said. Now to make a chord sound is that you have to put your finger on multiple strings or one string and strum based on like what are the, what do you call it, the strings that needs to be strummed. So for example, if I want to play an A, which is a I think it's a sol. Yeah, it's a sol. So you play it like this. Here, this is an A. And then you have what do you call it, an A minor. This is an A minor. You have a Do. So this is a chord for Do. And you can also make it sound like a Do, which is the C note, is just by playing this string. So if you play the string, it sounds exactly like this one. Can you tell the difference? It has more harmony, like it amplifies the sound of the note. So yeah, so these are mostly like the basic notes that you're gonna find in any music sheet or tutorial that you want to play for a song. We could try and play All of Me by John Legend. I think that would be nice. I think so on that song you have like around like 5 main chords. So most songs, the chords in them repeat. So you don't have to play like all of the notes here, for example, all of the chords here on one song. So for example, All of Me by John Legend has 5 main chords. And it's one of the easiest songs that you can actually go and play on your own if you get a ukulele. And the first chord is an E minor. So if you look here, you have usually when you hold a ukulele, you put your the thumb. You don't play with your thumb. You either put it at the right back here in the center, right? And it's like this, right? And then you have your hand moving like this to give you more what do you call it, flexibility when you're moving on the what do you call it, on the neck of the ukulele or the guitar in general. So these 4 fingers, all right, if you saw on the previous presentation, let me show you, you're gonna see that there are numbers here on each diagram. So for example, the A note has 2 and 1. That means that your second finger will go on the first string, and your first finger is gonna go on the second string on the first fret. So those are your 2 fingers that are gonna go on this, right? So this is an A, okay? For example, let's see. So the B minor 7 is that you put your whole finger on the whole fret because it's marking all of these in one with the number 1 finger. So your fingers are marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we only play with 4 fingers, okay? This is your B minor 7, okay? And then you have, for example, the C. So C is using your 3rd finger, right, on the 3rd fret, right? C major 7, C7, D sus2. So it's like the easiest way for you to do it is just like follow the numbers and their placement on the fret. But yeah, as I said, the All of Me song has 5 main chords. The first one is a E minor 7. All right, so E minor is this, and then you have C, which is this, and then you have a G. So a G is here, first finger on the second fret, second finger on the third string on the second fret, and the third finger is on the second string on the third fret. And then you have a D. So a D is here. So you have this is first string with the first finger, second string with the second finger, third string with the third finger. Right? So so I believe ukulele is easier than the guitar. Yes, you could say that. When actually playing with, you can use your nail or finger. How do you pluck or strum? Okay, I'll explain this. So first of all, my advice when you play any string-based instrument, be it a violin, a guitar, anything that has strings and has frets, I would advise you that at least the hand that you're playing with doesn't have any nails. I don't know if you can see mine. So I don't have nails, right? But the one that you're strumming with or plucking with, you can have nails on them, and you can also don't have a nail. Some people like to use something called a pick. It's like a triangle shape that they play with. I don't like playing with it because playing with my hand gives me more freedom. What if I have nails and use my tip fingers? Would that work? Yes, it would work on the hand that you're strumming with, but don't it will make it harder when you're like trying to play on like the strings, like when you're trying to press your finger on the string. So this will make it harder if you have nails. Yeah, and how do you pluck or strum? Okay, so a strum is it's like doing this, like you're hitting all of your strings with like, for example, one finger like that, right? And plucking is, let's show you something. So it's basically like I'm picking specific strings in a specific order. All right. So for example, this is an F. So what I'm doing is that I'm hitting those strings, two strings, the first string, and then the last string. Does that make it clear? So this is plucking. All right, cool. So this is what we call plucking. What I was playing actually is a song called it's called Never Not by Loa. I don't know if you've heard of it. So the reason why I picked All of Me by John Legend first to show you how strumming on it looks like and how it feels, and because most of you obviously might know it. So for again, for the song for John Legend, All of Me is like E minor, C, E minor, C, G, D. So this is how can you change from one chord to another chord? Okay, to do that, you could say that it's a bit tricky. It's not easy when you first start. You're gonna find it very difficult, and it's gonna take a lot of time from you until you really practice it. But the key point on like trying to switch between chord and a chord is having more control on where your hand is. So if you know how to hold your ukulele or your guitar properly, it will make it easier for you to switch between chords and memorizing where your chords are supposed to be. So for example, let's say I'm on an F and then I C, F, C, or like F, D minor, A. So it's like how you move your fingers on it, and if you like practice more and making sure that you have enough control on where your hand, like how you're holding your ukulele, it will give you more what do you call it, flexibility, and make it easier for you to move between chords. Yeah. What other questions? Would it be hard if I hardly play with my left hand, or is it possible to learn by practice? So you should know that the standard way of like the standard ukulele, standard guitars is that you use your left hand to play on the neck, and you use your right hand to strum. Now, if you're not a right-handed person, you need to get a ukulele that's for right-handed people, and it will be different. Obviously, you cannot get one and just like switch it like that. It doesn't work like that. Order of the strings is going to be different. The way it will sound is going to be different. You have to get a specific one. Now, if you're saying that you hardly play with your left hand, I never played with I'm a right-handed person, by the way. And when I started, it was kind of a bit difficult, but with time and practice, it became خلاص naturally. Like خلاص, I know how to like control my left hand with the way, the order I strum or pluck, and how I move my hand accordingly on the ukulele or the guitar. So yeah, so as I was showing you how to play, for example, All of Me by John Legend, what I was saying the chords while I was playing the strumming. So there's two things that we're gonna discuss now, which are tempo and, you can see here, yeah, tempo and strumming. Oops. All right. So tempo and strumming, there are two different things. Tempo is like the what do you call it? The flow of the song, the beat, how fast or how slow you go while you're playing a song or while you're singing. So like for example, this type of tempo is like a 4-on-4. All right. If I want to speed it up, I can do this. This is faster. So like trying to understand the speed of the speed while playing music is very important, because like you don't want to play a song that's supposed to be slow and calm really fast. That won't make it right. So for example, John, if I speed it up, it will sound weird. Can you feel the difference? So this is very important, and it's not an easy thing that you pick up. So usually I advise people to use something called a metronome. So what's a metronome? It's a tool that what do you call it, measures the time, a beat per minute for you. So for example, so I use a bunch of apps that helps me while playing music and like things like that. So on this app here, you can use a metronome. So it's like, can you hear it? So it's a 5-on-4. So you can have 5 notes in a what do you call it, in a 4 duration. So like I'm playing 5 notes on 4. Right? If I make it a 4/4, count it. So yeah, so you can play with the number of notes per scale, right? Usually, I advise you to use something like that to help you while you're trying to figure out your flow for a song. What else? Yeah. So as I was saying, this is for beats and tempos. Most people would go for like, if you want to figure out how many like most standard songs are gonna be like a 3/4 or 4/4. So you have equal notes per number of what do you call it, per duration. Yeah. Okay. So that's for it. And then you have something called a strumming pattern. So a strumming pattern is like going, it's either down or up. Right? You're gonna see this very commonly on guitar tutorials and ukulele tutorials and all of these things. And usually it makes a big difference how you play like your strumming pattern. It can be like up, down, or you can have something like down, up, down. So you're gonna find a lot of variations on how people like to play a song, and it just like gives a different value and a different feeling to the song. So for example, the John Legend one is like this. So down, up, down. So I'm going like this. Up, down, up. All right. So this is for your duration of that note. Okay. So that means it's like how many per that note is like 5/4. This is what I'm playing. Right? I usually use these 3 apps. You're gonna find a lot more. The first one is the one I just showed you. It's called Guitar Tuna. It has like a lot of things in it. Mostly I use it as a tuner. So how many chords? For what? For the song? So it depends on the song. So most songs you're gonna find like they have a standard of like 4 songs, four chords, like the easiest songs. The John Legend one has around 5 chords, and all of these chords will always repeat the same way. So you don't need to memorize like 10 chords for one song. That's just crazy. And this is what we call like a pattern. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, I use this one for as a tuner, and it has, as I said, a metronome. So for example, this is, if you can see, this is a ukulele tuner. So it helps you, tells you like right. So this helps you, tells you like how to tune your ukulele. Professional people can actually tune with their ear, with them like with the ears that they use to practice. For me, like I can tell notes easily, but like I'm usually like I'd rather like use the tool to figure like the tuning properly. How many should I know as a beginner? So I would tell you to learn the standard. Like it would be hard to tell you like what to learn exactly. So usually what I advise is that you go and pick a song that you really like. Make sure that it's easy, right? It will have usually C, E minor, G, D, and A minor. So usually these 5 chords are the easiest. Um, like like E minor is just 1 finger, and C is 1 finger. Um, A is 2 fingers, F is 2 fingers, like that. So yeah. And then I have these 2 apps, Chordify and Tabs. So for example, if I don't know, like if I can't play a song just by listening to it, so usually it works and usually it doesn't work. If I can't figure out exactly the chords or the notes, what I do is that what do you call it? I go to these apps or websites and look for the sheet, the music sheet. A lot of people contribute and they add to these websites with the way they play the song and how different scales and things like that. There is one more thing I wanted to show you, which is a capo. So this thing is called capo, and what it does is that it changes your musical scale, or the musical, you could say that, music scale on the instrument. It can be used with a guitar, it can be used with a ukulele. So for example, I want to make the sound of this ukulele higher. So when I say higher, that it sounds like thinner. So for example, this is how it sounds without the capo. If I add a capo on one of those frets, for example, the 2nd fret, here, can you hear it? Can you tell the difference? That's a capo. So it makes like a change for the scale, and you're gonna find it sounds cuter because it sounds higher. And in general, all ukuleles are high in their tone. So you're gonna find in some music sheets that you need to use a capo to actually play the song. But you can actually play with the what do you call it? Um, forgot the word. Um, the scale of the song, like dropping it down or adding up notes, so you can actually play without a cable. So what YouTubers did you watch to learn? I don't watch specific YouTubers. Usually, like I just like go randomly and see which tutorial is like easier to understand. So for example, I would tell you like the best videos that you'd be able to find is the ones that you can see clearly where the what do you call it, the player is putting their fingers here, right? And they show you the strumming pattern properly. So these usually are the best types of tutorials. I don't watch anything specific. Like if I want a song and I want to play it, I just go on Google that song and see if I can find a tutorial on it to see like the strumming pattern, the beats and things like that. What are the white dots on the ukulele? So usually those white dots is just to like tell you at which point are you on the what do you call it, on the neck. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the fifth one you have a dot. So because you can't just count while you're playing, you know, like you immediately know that, oh, this is the fifth note on the fret, the fifth fret, and this is the seventh fret, and this is the 10th fret. It just helps you how to do that. Yeah. As a beginner, what should I learn first? As I said, again, it's up to you what you want to learn. Just pick a song, try to nail it right, and then you're gonna get like see a good result. So the reason why I'm saying that is that usually people feel accomplished when they actually play a song, like completely play a song. Yeah, you could say that. You could try playing All of Me by John Legend. It's an easy song. Okay. Oops. What would I do without your small mouth? Drawing me in and kicking me out. Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't be you. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright. Hands underwater. So the thing is, I'm not good at memorizing. Yeah, why do I get buzz sounds when I play? So I think it will sound like this. Yeah, so the reason why you get buzz sounds is that you're not pressing hard enough, or you're blocking the sound. All right, so buzzing sounds will not show up unless you press hard enough. I usually get that buzzing sound if I'm not like playing the chords properly. I was saying that I have a hard time memorizing. Like I don't memorize all of the songs that I try to play. I usually have a note open beside me with the what do you call it, the keys, the chords, and the lyrics on top of it, and I play along with it. If you're obviously gonna be performing, you have to memorize. I'm not a professional, obviously. But I like to play, and it's just a hobby. And what else? Yeah, I was gonna show you the part. So if you notice that I'm always playing the same. What? Don't use a pick. Oh, why I don't use a pick? Because I don't like using it. It's a preference. So you can use a pick, and it will probably produce a different sound. So this is me playing with my thumb. It's up to you if you want to use a pick or not. Okay, so I was gonna play a quick part of Never Not by Love. So usually I like to make it higher because he sings on a low note and he's a guy. So I think this would be it. We were so beautiful, we were so tragic. No magic could ever compare. Lost myself at 17, then you came and found me. No magic could ever compare. There's a room in my heart. I think that's enough. I think we're gonna be almost done. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you have anything, just text me on my Instagram at hush.me not. So yeah, I hope you liked it.